Hey everyone! We are back for the second match of our methinkso versus Xopar Wanderer bracket. I decided to go back to back, so thanks for sticking around. Hope you all joined us for the first game, but if not, I'll give you some spoilers because it's on the screen anyway. Xopar did take the first game, 3 pieces to methinkso's 2. Definitely go back and watch that. It was great. I am melqwii, I am on comms tonight, and I am joined by xtremepsy. How you doing?
I'm doing well, melqwii. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good. I really enjoyed that first match. Got to watch it from the crowd. It was really exciting. I'm curious if we will have a similar kind of low path count seed here, or if maybe it's gonna end up being a little longer.
I just for the memes tend to vote for the 35 plus, knowing that 37 is probably the biggest number that could ever appear in Blitz, because one day it's going to happen. Probably not today.
Hey, you never know. I think we had a 35 the other day. Xopar following up his game 1 file name of 69 with a equally nice 420. Hopefully that is not how many steps we end up with our path counts.
I'm pretty sure something would be broken in the dev build, right?
Right.
Maybe a 420. We could do a 420, power, wisdom, courage.
Yeah, there we go. It can be a 4, a 2, and a 0. Perfect. Yeah. We are joined by the exact same tracking squad. Lady Draco, Netherian, and Shanna coming back for some more. I hope that means 15 seconds, Tobias, and not minutes.
15 minutes of dead air, here we go.
I know, I'm like, 15 minutes? I don't know about that. I don't think people want to listen to me just vamp for 15 minutes. Alright, we are off. Oh my god, a vanilla spawn.
Shocking. Every time.
Yep, I know. For anyone who is new to Triforce Blitz, we have a forced adult vanilla spawn, so you can do exactly what the runners are going to do next. Go get our path step counts. So we'll first see power, 2, 3, 5.
And DC power.
Yeah. Kinda nice. Usually that means that you've got a nice free bomb bag or 2. It's a little different.
Yeah, marginally is a very appropriate word.
By an exact margin of 1. Their game 1 was 225.
All right, so Spirit Trial 2 for courage, right?
Yeah, right.
Deku Tree for power, and Wisdom in just somewhere else.
Well, let's go Water Temple this time because, you know, generally there is always one in water whenever I am playing or watching. The few times that it's been foolish, I've been very shocked. Yeah, odds are we should reach the 37 at some point, right? Oh, and a piece of heart up here. Water and Spirit are the other stone dungeons today. We did start with a stone. Not as devastating as it is. Oh, Goron City Foolish. Love that.
Love to see it.
I know. There's just so many things. You often have to double back either as adult or child. Great to see that Foolish.
So, Forest Deku Dodongo, so we're definitely going to see DC at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's a pretty low step count to see something on Burning Cack.
Yeah, especially, you know, Dodongo's being on the path like I said, you're probably not likely to have a path bomb bag then, meaning that, like, DC is a step 0 dungeon. Deku is by default 1, depends on our slingshots if it's 2, and then Forest can be anywhere from 0 to
0 to 2 for
3?
clearing it. Yeah. It can be up to 4 for getting all the checks in it.
Yeah, but you just need to get in and fight Phantom Ganon. And there's
Boss easy and open shortcuts in Forest is fantastic.
I mean, eventually someone is likely to buy a shield. Yeah, Xopar looking for kind of the kill, it looks like. We might see him play even more aggressively than last match, because it is best of 3, so he can finish this right here.
And, you know, it is a little bit meta in the tournament mindset that, you know, being up 1 game, you can play for that aggressive kill at the chance of losing your lead in the series. So.
Yeah, and you know, I wasn't looking in the race time room. I'm not sure what Xopar knows of their first match, if he is aware that he was down 2 pieces to 0 at one point. It was very exciting. If anyone in chat,
I believe he had to immediately start patching for Seed 2, so I don't know if he had time to discuss or digest anything.
Yeah.
Like, I played a triple header in the main bracket, and we took like 30-minute breaks between. This is tight. This is turn around and go.
Yeah, both US. It's getting ish. Hey.
Oh, come on.
Water calling. Water is calling.
DLC area.
One of the kind of important logic changes in this format, water is hard locked behind iron boots, logically. In most other settings, you can use gold scale to enter, not do any checks, but enter. But with Boss Keezy on, to avoid any particular logical shenanigans, you need those iron boots.
Absolutely. Similar to the routing changes in Jabu, which are fantastic. Killing that Stinger's chest, always need Rudo's letter and Boomerang to bother going in there at all.
Yep.
Actually, one of the only mandatory 2 locations, in addition to Ice Cavern, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Deku and Storm and Bottom of the Well are both 1. Possibly more, depends on what locks them. Fire completion is 1, obviously. But Shadow, Nocturne Dins, Magic can be Wanderer. Yeah.
Yeah, the hovers in Shadow and ZL make it 4 to clear, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I guess Shannon, there's 2 to enter, but clearing. That's a magic up top.
Magic. Freely available up top there.
Yeah. Which, if I had an equivalent meme to Tobias, I may have said, I think that's magic on top of Dodongo's Cavern. Yesterday, it was not. I still don't know what it is, but it was not.
Oh, we know, Navi. We know. And immediate divergence here. Big chest there. Methinkso going child, which and is both a really good play because songs play such a big role when you only have a 2-hour time limit. We're also, you know, again, kind of thinking, okay, early bomb bag, child is a stronger play, but not going river. Xopar making the same move here. Not going river without any other, like, usable items. It's not something I personally do, but we'll see what pays out here.
Yeah, I practice a lot of doing Zora's River naked. If you don't find explosives in Cack and Graveyard, I tend to go the river play as opposed to up the mountain.
And I like going up the mountain at least to see what's on top of Dodongo's cavern, just because the number of times that there is a bomb bag there is astonishing. And similarly, kind of another thought process here. Ooh, Lost Woods, Path of Courage. Having Prelude is so nice in these settings because you are guaranteed to not have to hike to go back adult. Going child is easy, your adult spawn is right there, but...
Yeah, of course, right now, still lacking warp songs for... well, first F of the game.
Did Xopar mean to die, or is that full-on F's in chat?
I'm gonna go with F's in chat for that one, personally.
I feel like that's F's in chat.
Going to get revenge, though, as we see Hyrule Castle 2 for a Forest Wanderer.
Excuse me? Seed?
Yeah. We know they reloaded a new seed, right?
Yeah, we know it's a new seed, but Forest was Wanderer in their last seed. Yeah, very interesting.
Silly me thinking of Time of Day with Prelude, but no warp songs as child might be a problem. Already got Sun Song off Windmill.
Yep. Yeah. We got Sun Song right away, which again is really nice. You want to talk about the merits of Time of Day routing, certainly in a longer seed format, but when you've got 2 hours, you are excited to see any tool that's available to you.
Yeah, you learn a lot of ins and outs of, oh, if I check Hyrule Castle 1, that screwed up my route to go all the way through this loop by 10 seconds. I also really like Sun Song and Blitz settings because you start to remember the overworld warps by playing Sun Song a lot more. You know, you go check K-Sword chest. Well, dip in Mido's house first, play Sun Song, you're set up to go to Lost Woods right after, right? All those little tricks that save seconds. Way better in a 2-hour format.
All right.
Yes, Jax, there is no long-term planning in a Blitz route. It is just a 2-hour anxiety, run as fast as you can, the way you shoot your last arrow.
The start of that sounded like the Welcome to Duloc song from Xopar. Got momentarily sent back about 20 years. Don't mind me.
Technically, that still puts us 5 years ahead of this game, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, that takes me back 20 years. Well, that's actually accelerated from OoT, so it's all good.
Oh no, methinkso. Look for the deep pecs.
I'm still convinced that's a myth. That's just something you say when you're streaming. When you get all 3 on first try.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. They're not deep pecs. They're, in fact, different sizes.
Oh!
And a hammer.
Okay, a hammer.
So...
Lee, did you
hammer
just... She just tell Lady Draco she's old. That's so rude.
So I think hammer in Lon Lon, depending on what they get for a song here, I might be tempted to age with Prelude, just Prelude, age change, and head into DC and just risk the bomb lock at the end.
Yeah, so no strength makes that a little riskier, because it is only 2 checks. You can peek a couple others. One other. And it is another hint. You're climbing up the mountain at that point.
Yeah. You can merge that into... we saw Goron City Foolish, right? Yeah. Yes. Never mind. Dumb play. Yep. Don't do what I just said.
But you remember that nice big chest that we saw in the wall in Trail?
I do indeed.
I mean... Who
I don't
knows
know if
what
I'd
that
go that.
is.
That's a lot of hiking for a single known big chest.
Yeah,
Like you
but I
can,
mean,
you still have the other child song and
but
things you can do right now.
you go into Lost Woods, which is path. You break open everything you can do there. You get your song. I like it.
And that's the joy of Blitz. See, you and I would already be playing completely different seeds than both of them.
Yep.
Of course, I'm no
We can
longer in
play
the
this as
tournament,
a
so don't listen to me.
we can do this as a thought exercise. We'll keep track of the decisions we might have made along the way and see which would have paid out more.
I've already FF'd.
Oh, don't do that. I've only finished one of these.
Really?
I've literally only ever finished one
Oh.
of these.
For some reason, I thought you played more Blitz than one.
I mean, I've played many more, but I have only
Finished.
finished one.
By finished, you mean like all three pieces?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
what I mean. I guess one completed. Tobias, you already know that the real friends are the bad decisions we made along the way. Slash vice versa. Ooh.
Alright, Mido's house.
Hey,
K-sword.
a Kokiri sword. Yep, and just right back around. We are going to Deku Tree, maybe. Oh, no? No? Hint, maybe?
It might be the Lost Woods path pushing out of Deku.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we know courage. Every dungeon is going to be hinted for it.
Mm-hmm.
With that Lost Woods.
Oh,
I think that was Domain Foolish, right?
Yep. Also good. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this earlier. Burning Cack, we do not know it yet. At minimum, I think you do what Xopar's doing. You go in and see what those hints are. And really, Deku Tree is a lot of fast checks. Just a blue bee in the box.
But, like, I agree it's a lot of fast checks. One thing I still struggle with Blitz is, yeah, but 5 minutes is still 5 minutes. And when you have if you have a path too, granted there's no zeros.
Sometimes hint. We have a sometimes hint.
I had a freeze on my screen, so I missed it.
Oh, Big Pose is a red rupee, and 20 is dead.
20 is dead. All right, so time to rush every hint in the game, find the 6 items you need to clear it, and go.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the interesting things about finding a sometimes hint in, hey, Kokiri Path of
there we
Courage,
go.
Definitely go Deku.
Yep.
100%.
You are in the right spot. That is. Yep. That's all the validation you need in this game.
The hint distribution in this format is not designed to have sometimes hints. We are going to have up to 10 path hints. You're guaranteed 1 wanderer, meaning things like bomb bags where they might not lock each other. You can functionally not get one of them and still complete the seed. Paths work more like your traditional, like your traditional Waffen path, where an item is locking either all other copies or progression behind it.
That was SFM Wanderer.
Oh, nice. So, with that, and our 5 foolish hints, generally speaking, we shouldn't be seeing sometimes hints. What that tells us is there's enough overlap between our paths and not enough wanderers. And so the game is just picking random hints to give you.
And Forest is Wanderer as well.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting. So there's going to be something either on K-Sword Chest or in the Storm's Grotto there.
Yep. And it would be kind of interesting if it ended up that the Kokiri sword was Wanderer for whatever song is on Burning Cack.
I'm just going to pretend like that isn't an option right now, because that's dirty. Yeah. I know Netherian's in chat still reeling from just dirty Wanderer hints from his seed yesterday. And like everyone since.
Okay. So, chat saying that Xopar did check the Kokiri sword chest, so...
Okay, he did. Yeah. Kiri Forest was Path Courage, correct, Shanik?
Yes.
Weasel, I agree with you. They aren't. Wanderer hints are dumb until you're stuck looking for, the one strength that the game picks up, because it actually is the easiest one to get.
Mm-hmm. So our Kokiri sword, once again, likely on our path to courage. Just like, I wonder if they're both having, like, flashbacks to their last seed. Like, how do you not get seed bleed when so many things are so similar already?
Especially with, like, a 10-minute break.
Mm-hmm.
And most of that was just reloading and hitting Control R on your tracker.
Yep. Alright, Goma. What you got for us? There was nothing in here, right?
Nope. The working theory is whatever we need out of Deku, if it is something, is on Goma. If it's nothing, that very much suggests Kokiri Sword is either the song on Burning Cactus Path, or it'll be something like Requiem, but Lens is available.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends up being the worst Wanderer I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, Kokiri Sword Wanderer would honestly be such a bummer. Oh no, worst case scenario. Let's go. And I guess we'll drop the obligatory. Where is our slingshot? Bloopy
Well,
Tobias.
So the other thing, of course, the K-Sword with, presumably a Wanderer slingshot hiding somewhere in the world, that does open up Ganon's castle already.
Yep.
The joys of Q Reward Bridge.
Yeah. It's always unlikely. Ganon's is one of the, most often zero dungeons, because you usually do have so many options available to get in there. The bridge to get into Ganon's castle is just 2 dungeon rewards. So whatever you started with in your pocket, in this case the Kokiri Emerald, and your first dungeon reward.
So the only way Ganon's castle is a 2 is if... Oh, we got Rudo's letter for our forest courage. Potentially.
DC Wanderer?
So I thought we have Lost Woods. Yeah, Lost Woods Path of Courage, and Bridge Scrub had Rudo's letter.
Okay. Yeah. So that's interesting. Oh god. Oh god. ZL. ZL on Burning Cack. Rush Ice.
I like it.
I
hate it, but I like it.
So Dodonko's Cavern is both a path and a wanderer location. And given we know that we already have one sometimes hint, I am gonna make the bold claim that it's our boomerang.
For the path item is your call for power?
Yeah.
So Rudo's letter, boomerang. That means we'd need a wanderer. We'd either need a scale available.
I really think we're finding wanderer bombs. Oh no, scale to get into domain.
You need so you would need ZL bombs and scale equally available for Jabu 2.
Yep.
But Jabu 3 or even worse, Jabu 5.
Yeah, that's trash. That's some trash.
walking through Lost Wood, or through Sacred Forest Meadow Maze. I'm assuming Xopar got hit or just didn't have the line. You can see, like, this is an example of, you know, something knocks you off and, you know, you lose time. I'm pretty sure methinkso entered the maze second, but got Song of Storms first.
Mm-hmm.
That
So
was
Song
the
of
dupe of DC
Storm
power.
was a wanderer. Is that true?
Sacred Forest Meadow, yeah.
Sacred
Storms
Forest
could be
Meadow.
Wanderer, which would actually pair well with that Keikiri Forest Wanderer.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. How many wanderer hints do we have? Oh, Fountain also foolish. All of that is very surprising. Okay,
Was that
Bolero is gonna
Bolero
be our
Minuet?
minuet.
Which is a second sometimes hint, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, so depending on how many wanderer paths we end up with, that kind of determines how many sometimes we will get.
You think so? Check your Storms Grotto. We'll see it on Xopar's side, though.
Oh,
When he's still dead.
still dead. And there is a bomb bag. Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's gonna definitely be our Wanderer.
yeah.
Last time I checked, there's only one Keikiri sword, so.
Yep. Yeah, it's just whether or not the song that is there. I don't know. Forest, we have not seen Saria's or Minuet yet. We don't have enough information to know if our access is gonna be Wanderer. I'm not surprised to find a bomb bag so early, but...
Mm-hmm. And as Shanek's pointing out in chat, as we have debated many a Triforce Blitz logic, bombs, if bombs are Wanderer, that actually makes Dodongo's Cavern a 0-step dungeon to clear.
Yeah, and we do know that it's a Wanderer and a path location, so Xopar is definitely going to be heading there.
That would also technically make, as far as we know, assuming Slingshot is not a path item, blocked by bombs, Ganon's Castle logically 0 to get into.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you could have something weird where Light Trial is our wisdom. We have not seen any wisdom hints. Yeah, I agree. You. But that also tells us that the hookshot lock checks are not a item. Sorry, are not a Triforce piece. Because we'd only at most need one hookshot. And methinkso did not check Storm's Grotto.
And you know, he did the same thing last seed, just ran right by it. It had hovers in their seed, which weren't, like, fully relevant, but it helped put together enough Wanderer hints that pushed Xopar to Shadow 2. At least, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
we'll ask questions at the end of this race.
EMC Path Wisdom. Thanks, Rob.
Yep. Yeah, Commentator Curse right there. Which is interesting, because currently we don't have access to that. Not all of it, anyway.
Need to think through this. Yeah, we just have the one grotto and the wall accessible with that free bomb bag.
Mm-hmm. And Xopar buying a shield. Bold strategy.
Yep.
I like to go through Dodongos before I commit to buying a shield.
Well, you know, the end of it is nice because you spawn right outside CAC. It's day, but you do have the advantage of being able to shield drop your bombs through all of DC.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Especially with the hammer. You know, you can do the power crouch hammer stab. I don't know. And that was our second Fountain Foolish hint in DC, if I remember correctly.
Yes. All right. Xopar has bombs, has 3 hearts and double defense. Not going for any more small chests.
No. Completely agree.
Yeah. Yeah, and no Dungeon Foolish is always a little worrying, and I think most of our Wanderers are actually. Okay, Forest, DC, and what is likely Deku hinted Kokiri Forest as a Wanderer, or Path, never mind.
Yeah.
Just kind of, it's interesting to see those as Wanderers and just Overworld as Foolish, because that kind of screams to you, you know what? Dip all of your dungeons when they're available.
That's one thing that I've never put together. I agree with your mentality. You're just smarter than me, that's all.
I love when they
think so, losing the flame storage.
I think sometimes that is the trickiest torch to get flame storage on. I think the camera is just so inclined to switch on you, and even though that shouldn't matter...
Yeah, but somehow it magically does, right?
Yeah.
That's a... I don't know if I've seen the roll and continue to face forward ledge grab.
Oh, yeah.
That we got on Xopars. I always have to do a side roll to line up. Because I'm a noob.
I think more and more people have started doing that because you do keep moving. You know, like it feels bad in this format, especially to pause for any amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another big chest here.
So that's bomb or hammer available. So this... Well, so this in my mind would be... So Wanderer unlocked to the slingshot.
Our slingshot. Let's go. Definitely Wanderer. Oh, he did the skull after flame storage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, Tobias, you bring up a good point. Rudo's was in Lost Woods, but Lost Woods is a path location.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm pretty confident it's Wanderer, but that would nag at me. That would nag at me the entire race until I scratch that itch and check.
Mm-hmm. Alright, here's likely our path item.
And a mirror shield.
See, this is why you don't buy a shield before going into Dodongo's cavern.
Do you remember how we were talking about Kokiri Sword could be our Wanderer?
Yep.
If Requiem is burning cack and Lens is available.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know, not knowing what burning cack is yet, I definitely am suspicious of both Bombeg and Kokiri Sword, because, to your point, you're absolutely right. There is only one Kokiri Sword. But, you know, everything kind of being available for burning cack also sounds a lot pretty sus. We have SFM Wanderer, which kind of is why we said bombs were a Wanderer.
Well, bombs are hard locked by storms, but that doesn't mean they're the only bombs available. That's always the trick. And so a hook shot. I like that more.
I like hookshot a lot better than that shield. Partially because it gives us access to the song in Creator too.
Yep.
That's
And
definitely just gonna end
yeah.
up being our forest access, and Wisdom's just chilling in the
Yeah,
lobby
and
of
I like this
forest.
decision from Xopar. You hike up the mountain, you head immediately into crater, skipping all of Goron City other than to detonate a little Goron to chase down that next path hint. Because if it's nothing, you just immediately go into forest. Meme of agony.
Skipping that Storm's Grotto, though.
Yeah, Xopar didn't check that. He preluded last time he was here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But very, very easy to do. You know what you're doing next, and that's immediately where you head.
Yep. Yeah, this mirror shield is really, really nice. And yeah, Berenger pointing out DMC as a path. I definitely think go clear this out as much as you can.
We got our bean purchases. Gonna do the fast access to Ice Cavern here.
I thought Shannick was saying that he doesn't like the mirror shield color, not just as a path. There's a copy of SFM Wanderer. Wait.
Neil, I'm bound to my core to agree with you because I've played, I want to say about 50 Blitz seeds. I've never picked up skulls after the first 10, and I've never been burnt by it. Lots of people have, but until it happens to me.
Yeah.
But I play Blitz super aggressively.
More Jews!
Song of the
Sorry,
Frogs in the Rain.
No. Crash. Hate it. I am pretty sure Xopar knows that Goron City is foolish. And that was kind of the only reason I thought he opened that chest was...
Yeah, Goron City Foolish was open Grotto and Kakariko.
Yeah. I don't know the odds or the statistics on big chest being choose in a foolish location, but I assume it's pretty high. Anyone in chat know?
Compared to that or memes, right?
And there it is. Lullaby is on Burning Cack.
All right, and chat pointing out that we saw it, we never mentioned it. Saria's on OoT.
Yep, Saria's is on our Stone Dungeons, Water and Spirit. And Burning Cack is our Lullaby. Kokiri Forest Wanderer.
So, Path Power is 2. We have Hookshot in DC Path Power, and with it was Saria's, right? Saria's behind
Was that a strength?
I'm
No, we don't have a strength. What was that? And there is Magic.
Magic 2 freely available, basically. So Magic, if it's needed for anything, is Wanderer at this point.
Oh, it was bombs. Okay, thanks now. Alright, more of our Lost Woods. Jabu is foolish, of course. Another slingshot.
I'm feeling Forest for power very strongly.
Yeah, I would not be surprised at all to find a piece in Forest.
Yeah, and it would presumably be before the push block.
Ooh, big Poe bottle. So we know that slingshot is not our path. So Minuet and Bolero just swapped places. Is that?
I don't know if that counts as French vanilla, but I want to say it does.
Yeah. Kind of feels French vanilla.
The amount of times I've DMC Wisdom, so that's a duplicate.
Yeah, so finding that Minuet there, knowing that Bolero is on the Minuet check, knowing that Saria's is locked behind a lot of items, water and spirit, I think that just feeds into Forest not only being Wanderer, but
yeah, power piece.
Location. Yeah. Is that the other lullaby hint?
Yep.
Looked like. And Xopar is playing Minuet. Gonna go to Forest. Not sure.
Bolero.
Interestingly, there's certainly more you can do in Forest without a bow or a strength or Song of Time in these settings because you've got the 2 basement checks the shortcut is on.
Yep, but they are lacking bow, Song of Time, and hover boots. So
yeah.
They're stuck with 3.
Yep.
4. My bad. Yep. Entrance, Stelphos, basement, and Phantom Ganon.
Hey!
Or you can keep going through Forest.
Alright. So Wanderer Bow, perhaps?
Yep. I was even going to ask that question, is if you
chilling
find a
in the
Wanderer
water.
Strength or Wanderer Bow, what do you do? Do you bail? Do you keep going?
No. No. I think at minimum you beat Phantom Ganon for Lullaby.
Oh, I meant further into, so you find a bow, you can do the back loop, you find strength, you can potentially do a couple more, depending on key logic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Oh, another big chest here. Is this our first piece?
It is indeed.
And there is our wisdom piece. I am going to assume.
So that is 40-30. Now, I didn't watch the first match in detail, but correct me if I'm wrong, methinkso was up on both pieces 1 and 2, correct? In terms of time.
Sorry, say that one more time.
I didn't watch match 1 in detail, but if memory serves me, methinkso was up on time for both pieces 1 and 2?
Yes. Yep, methinkso found 2 pieces before Xopar found the first one. Yeah, it could be that there's another item in Forest.
Minuet, Path, Wisdom. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, because Minuet is Path to Wisdom. Minuet is locked behind, as far as we know right now, that piece is locked behind bombs, a hook, a bow, and Minuet. We know that the bombs should be Wanderer. We believe the bow should be Wanderer. And the hook is likely our path, so 2 steps.
And and K-Sword is likely our path. So, K-Sword, Hookshot, Minuet to get ZL.
Mm-hmm.
K-Sword, Hookshot,
or
Minuet,
ice.
ZL. Yeah, gets us 4 or 5. You add Rudo's letter to that mix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think... Yeah. Oh, come on, Shannick. Yeah, ZL is 5. Courage is 5. Courage and Ice. Come on. Just let me have this once.
No, it was like, what? I thought we already counted that ZL is 4.
Yeah, and Rudo's becomes 5, yeah.
Yeah, so we have 2 bottles. Nice and full bottles. One with letter and one with Big Po. Big Po is obviously going to be the easiest one to empty out. Just go turn it in. But I wouldn't be too surprised if we see Xopar just go.
Yeah. So...
Because I do believe in this case, Minuet being path for... Well, no, because Wisdom is 3, not 5. And if we think Courage is in Ice...
Yeah, this feels like I feel like we're missing a piece of the puzzle. There's like another hint out there for Wisdom that's not duplicated in our 5 path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have...
And I want to say... Is it going to be a strength? A path strength hiding somewhere?
Could be.
Yeah. Shannik is heading where I'm heading. Path strength for Wisdom also in Forest.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think what... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where this is going, honestly. But, you know, we kind of talked about this. I wouldn't be too surprised to find something big in Ganon's, even though it's not hinted.
Yeah, you might luck into it, to be honest.
Yeah, right?
And, you know, you can do everything except for Light Trial, so I want to say that's 6 checks, right? Especially if you can do Bow Extension in Spirit 2.
Yeah, we have choose.
What a pro. Elias correcting me, it is 8 checks. Thanks, Elias. Ew.
Okay.
No. This game is cancelled.
We have 2 fires. Spirit intensifies.
Yeah, put it back in the chest. We're just, you know, pretend like you didn't have choose. Put it right back in, close the lid.
Yeah. I really enjoy that usually these are the items that you're really excited to find watching an Ooter match, and then when it comes to Blitz, it's like, no, I refused.
No. Yeah.
Mostly
Shadow's
because...
at least 18 steps, right? No,
Yeah,
I never
right.
have to go there in a game.
Right. Shadow is such a needy dungeon. Don't lie to me.
Ooh, body
no.
the flaming skull.
So rude. Yeah, Shadow is like, okay, it's 2 steps minimum. You need your Nocturne and your Dins. But
2-step minimum, but I don't have enough fingers and toes to count how many paths it'll take me to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Or to want to go. I don't know, however you want to phrase it.
Yeah, so, what's, I think not dipping into fire when you were there was a missed opportunity. You have Bolero, so I would go back pretty quick.
Yeah, so Bolero was on Minuet, right?
Bolero was on Minuet and Minuet was on Bolero. Yeah.
And Hammer was free?
Hammer was Lon Lon Ranch, which is not hinted to, like, be a path or anything. But yeah, I'm not, I don't even think, like, don't climb fires, certainly, but...
No, definitely not.
But I would at least pop in. I think Xopar's gonna empty that bottle now.
Yeah.
And just go
I'm
ice.
I'm pretty sure this is planning for the Mweep skip.
Yep. Yeah,
It's been said many times, but I am enjoying, or I was enjoying the Super Mario World, the haunted houses, right? I can't remember what they're called. Great music.
Oh yeah. What are they called? I don't know. I don't remember. Ghost
houses.
It's like booze. Is that what they're called? Booze?
Booze are the ghosts, yeah.
Booze are the ghosts. Yeah, exactly. You kind of need an empty bottle to do ice. There is that hookshot for methinkso.
Obviously, I'm not playing, but I can tell you a classic mistake and having that laser mindset of what you're going to do next.
Mm-hmm.
I would have forgotten to pick up ZL off Burning Cack because I was like, yeah, why are you going to Kakariko right now? Like, you should be heading upriver. No, you need the song.
Oh, I even almost said, I hope Xopar remembers to go get ZL because we don't have hovers.
Yep.
And the nice thing is, Domain is foolish, Fountain is foolish. We don't need any blue fire for that. Don't need to waste any time.
We don't free kings on the stream. This is Blitz, no time. We know ZL cannot be, like, granted, spheres don't really matter. This is Blitz, so you do have to think about things differently. But Minuet is very highly likely path. So ZL and K Sword. So it's behind 2 items. So path 3, but more realistically 4, adding the hook shot to it.
Yep.
That gets us into Zora's Domain. Rudo's Letter makes our 5th item for Courage in Ice Caverns, the working theory.
Was kind of hoping Inko was gonna show up. Where did that scale come from? Oh, the Storm's Grotto. That's what Xopar missed out on. Our bombs locked to scale and our ZL.
So ZL and it was Storm's Grotto, right, for the scale?
Yeah.
Which cancels out the bombs and ZL because they're not locking each other to churn in Rudo's Letter for the Ice Cavern play.
Yep. Which just kind of further... Wait. Yeah, that further confirms 5 steps here.
It's required for the 5 steps.
Yeah.
Because you need 2 methods of accessing Zora's Domain for it to be 0 to get inside.
Yep. Which is why SFM is Wanderer. Because it locks our bombs and our scale.
Shannik, you do need ZL as a step for ice. However, you would need bombs in addition to ZL, adding an additional step into Zora's Domain. Oh, so yeah, okay. Bombs are already Wanderer, so it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Nice. You can have that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it'll be back here in Fountain. Xopar is at least
Fountain
showing us
Foolish.
his hint. Yes. But we might see a hint.
Oh,
Branch Paths to
long on
Wisdom. Fire! Wait, what song did we get there? Anyone?
Yeah, that's immediately what I did. Opponus.
Oh, we got a vanilla horse.
And a hammer on Talon's chickens.
Hammer!
So, unfortunately, both of those stack rather well with a hook shot. So, you know, because Minuet is on the path of wisdom, I'm wondering if somehow all our bows are locked in a weird way for GTG, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, GTG is kind of a classic. Easily long shot could be there. Making Epona's path to get there. I would be interested to see... Oh, Big Pose was dead. It's just a bloopy. Fortress is not foolish, so HBA could have something spicy.
Well, keep in mind, this is for wisdom, right? So, Epona, hookshot Minuet to get a Wanderer bow for a piece in GTG. So we don't...
Yeah. Oh,
I'm not so much thinking there's anything at Fortress or like Hammer Rocks. I'm thinking GTG is where a piece might be.
Is there a big chest there? Could ZL lead to bottom of the well? Not in this. I mean, it could. Adding in storms as like the 5th step again.
But we don't have an SFM path.
And there's
our ice piece.
Yep. Not surprising.
Yeah. So if Sacred Forest Meadow was one of our path hints, then yes, ZL and Storms landing up for a well play, I would agree, but not this time.
Yep. And Xopar bailing. So Xopar is the one with the information about Lon Lon Ranch, is probably thinking about, okay, what did I get there? Where do I go?
Frickin' Hammer Fairy.
Yep. Did he already do this or just break the rocks?
I think broke the rocks because Hammer was very early and then probably broke them and to save time to get up to the... No, you reset there to get up to the grotto or top of mountain with your heat timer.
Yeah, I mean, I assumed that's what it was... Oh. Oh, just do it. Yep, do it.
Yeah, this is going...
Go find your strength and fire.
Go and check.
And Minuet is path to our wisdom piece, which could very well just be deeper in forest. We just need a strength.
Oh, no, never mind. That doesn't make sense, because we already have hookshot. So Minuet would create a Wanderer Bolero.
Yeah, basically. All right,
yes, Lady Draco. Ice Cavern is courage.
Yes. All right, Xopar gonna show off some 3-heart fire here. Gonna grab a fairy by the look of it.
Wise choice. Required to do the climb.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, that's one thing about Blitz, other than it's only 2 hours, so you know I can actually do it in my day-to-day life. It really makes you develop confidence to do things on 3 hearts without shields and rely on a single bottle and fairy strats to do stuff like Fire Temple that you kind of like, granted, in settings that have CTSC, that's the wrong acronym. Chest size matches something.
Yeah, so we have,
you have to worry
chest
about, right?
size and texture on
In this one, yeah.
in this. Yeah, I am always happy to find double defense no matter what settings I am playing on, but
Absolutely.
especially this where you're like, it feels bad to keep opening the small chest.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with Blitz, because Blitz has choose in large chests turned on, which I think is another really good decision for promoting aggression.
Your
right?
mirror shield. you have a free mirror shield. Oh, that feels so bad.
Do it with swag.
Yeah. But, like, he didn't even buy it. It was free. He won the game.
This is
Here's a big chest here. Hammer locked in fire.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
Ew. No. Actually put that back. That's hot garbage.
Yeah. That is just so we can have a Wanderer Requiem somewhere.
No. I hate it. I hate that so much. Mostly because it's not what I thought we would find in that big chest, but...
Nope, not at all. I was trying to think. So our hammer was... Yeah, our hammer is in Lon. So it could, in theory, be Path. And Hook Shot was Path in DC.
Yes.
And I'm trying to have an epiphany here. Bomb Bag, Wanderer, never mind. We'd still be one item short for something in Fire Temple for Wisdom.
Well, if our bow is in fact a path.
And that is 1 hour, 4 seconds for piece 1. For me, think so.
Great, happy 1 hour.
Yep. What a capstone. Would you like to do the roll call?
Sure. Happy to do the roll call. If you want to throw 50 of your channel points in, give some thanks to our runners today. Methinkso and Xopar doing game 2 back to back. So we've got nice 4 hours of content here. Our trackers, who are also doing double duty, Lady Draco, Netherian, and Shannick, keeping track of everything that our runners have, pushing the buttons, filling out our note sheet in the back so we kind of look like we know what we're talking about. Our restreamers, Dastar left after the first match, so now we have Tobias, who is awake at like 4 a.m. for no reason. Our race monitor today, Renata. Hi, Renata, by the way. I thought I was gonna pop in and race you earlier, but it turned out you were opening these race rooms, so thank you. And Extreme Sight, thank you for being on comms with me.
And thank you for taking a lead on comms, melqwii. Very much appreciate it. I would have been super nervous on my second attempt doing this by myself.
No, you're doing great.
I see Harry Strats Revolve here.
Amazing.
Thanks, Baseball.
Aw, thanks, Baseball. Baseball, getting the night off for once. Hope you're enjoying it. Wow. Some amazing heat timer there.
Nothing but the pro strats here.
Alright. Methinkso about to face off with Phantom Ganon.
Interestingly, collecting the med and then going back into fire. Well, I guess heat timer. Duh.
Yeah.
You can either die, reset, and go grab another fairy, or you can get the medallion and run back in.
Yep. So I'm very interested to see how deep into fire Xopar opts to go. Honestly, with an hour left, Zopar's probably feeling okay with the 2 pieces he has, but certainly not complacent.
Yeah.
But I wonder if he's not thinking, you know what, let's follow the hammer until it becomes clear that it's the horse.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I think I would have bailed at this point, but doing big lava is okay. Maybe to the point of opening up shortcut. Because you can do the lower maze and peek the upper maze chest. You already know if the shortcut is something. Right, but certainly no farther than that.
Right.
We're missing, like, we don't have a wallet, we don't have a tunic, we don't even have the strength to go that far.
Right. And one of the, like, interesting things here, chat is talking about whether or not strength can be required. I'll have to go back and read about that discussion. With 3 hearts, you're basically guaranteed you can do big lava, you use your fairy going up the elevator to the next floor. And then I think from there it's like, all right, I go until I burn up, or
yeah. But once you're through the elevator on 3 hearts, you can do the rest.
You should. I say that like I'm not terrible at this game.
Yeah. I don't know. 3 heart fire is free. I don't know what you're talking about. I've definitely never burned to death multiple times in a single race here.
Yeah, right? Never. No. Yes, Isis. So we ended up getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 path hints, 4 wanderer hints, and 2 sometimes hints.
Yep. So that is our 11.
Yep. And as you can see, it's not too surprising that we ran out of things. Especially knowing that some of these 100% overlapped. So wisdom is the piece that we believe we are missing still. Our paths are minuet and either Epona or hammer. So
yeah, the only thing with minuet being a path is it basically means that path power hookshot is also the 3rd item. Because minuet by itself in this is getting us sweet nothing.
Mm-hmm. It got us Bolero.
Which is inherently cancelled out by
where
the hookshot.
minuet was.
Yeah. Methinkso picking up ZL?
No keys here. Interesting. Methinkso certainly doing what Xopar did earlier. You have a shield. Oh, my heart. My heart.
I was thinking about that when Methinkso was fighting Phantom Ganon.
Oh.
Oh, and even... Oh, yep. No, there's the realization. Is it going to be flicked? Is there immediately going to be flicked?
That feels so bad. Nope, no time for shield flicks.
Yeah.
He remembered.
Honestly, at least he remembered. Right?
Yeah.
He has those 80 rupees that he can go spend on bomb 2 bowling or something in 45 minutes for some reason.
Yeah, it feels so bad. Like,
yeah, it does.
No.
It feels worse if you buy it, go to equip it, and go, oh.
Yeah, right.
Oops. I'm being restreamed, right? Everyone saw that? Cool.
Yeah. Oh.
Now, are we going to do the ground jump or the glitchless? This is a ground jump. With the bomb drop. I only get that like 40% of the time. Either I
Yeah.
drop a bomb and don't jump, or jump and don't drop a bomb. Never both.
Yeah. Here's the one thing, Shannick mentioning, this is technically strength locked from here on out. Which is kind of the only really strong case against doing through here in fire, I feel. If you're already here, like, sure. But doing, like you said, through big lava, it makes a lot of sense, because it... I'm having some trouble getting a peek. Yep. Nothing up
Small
there.
Chest.
Yeah, not even a key.
Yeah, the only other piece of intel worth going in here is you can peek that chest. We know the shortcut, right? You're grabbing 2 extra checks. Plus, you also know if you are in fact bow locked coming up here.
Yeah, and that's, again, that's kind of the only thing. Finding out
Which
if
we
that
are.
bow... Yep, we are going to be bow locked.
So this bow is Wanderer, but it could be Wanderer for this, because we are bow locked right now.
Yep, yep. But again, Xopar obviously does not know if he is ahead or behind of methinkso. But I think even though you want to go fast and finish quickly and first, obviously, you have an hour left when you start here.
Yeah, I'm really... So
that was the third
small...
sometimes?
I missed it if it was.
Frog's one hint? Chat?
Anyone? Frogs one? Yeah, I'm seeing in our in our secret totally. Yeah.
Frogs one, dead.
I always thought this channel spelt dead, D-E-D.
Dude.
So I must have
missed... Xopar!
Oh, come on.
Oh. See, this is what I was talking about. Like, should 3 hearts be enough? You get hit once, and it feels terrible.
But now, you know, this is you do not come back. Like, there's no reason.
Yep.
I must have missed the peak. Was shortcut a small key?
Shortcut I thought was nothing. I think Scarecrow might have been our next key.
Oh, yeah. So there was no reason to go past that then.
But you can, at minimum open it. Yeah, and this is what I was saying.
Well, yeah, the shortcut,
you burn your fairy on the elevator, maybe you go until you die. Yep. The plan. No F's in chat for that.
Going child.
Xopar,
what on earth is this playing?
Lake, I guess? Lake hints, maybe? I
don't have the mental capacity to check who knows what details.
So Xopar has both wisdom paths.
Yeah.
And does know that Domain, Fountain, and Jabu are foolish. No, we don't have Rang. It doesn't matter.
Oh, he's committing the Pierre for the small key. This is to set Scarecrow song. This is committing to go deep fire.
Yeah. Interesting. With no sign of a strength anywhere, this is a very strange call from...
I agree. This is... So you know Pierre's a small key. You have 2 checks left in all of fire.
Yeah. But I mean, the other thing is, we have not seen a wallet or a tunic.
Or a strength.
Or any strengths. They're... As much as I enjoy the fire dip, because I thought we were going to find something there, Xopar's not even doing lens minigame with that lens that Hammer gave us.
Yeah.
Go do lens minigame. There's nothing on lens minigame, folks.
Only bragging rights if you guess all 5.
Yeah, only bragging rights. Can you imagine, though, if there was a strength there?
Just a wanderer unhinted.
Just for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm... like, I agree with what chat's saying. Like, this is, you've forgotten that you have opponents or like something of that nature. This is a very large time commitment for 2 checks.
Yeah, and I mean, it could be that he's just doing this in case and calls Epona, does some field checks, and goes GTG.
Yeah, I guess you could route this in on your way to GTG. You know,
Because really, with Serenade, I don't see a reason
Prelude.
not to do this. Yeah. Chat, all cynical. And here is methinkso tying it up on pieces, but is at that time disadvantage. We'll need to find the 3rd and final piece before Xopar. You might see the little timer below where we have their Triforce pieces marked. If you're unfamiliar with what that means, it means that they do have the winning piece currently, so if it ended right now, that's how we know who's ahead. And yes, methinkso would have just gotten that Long Run Ranch Path to Wisdom hint on the way to ice.
Lab Dive is our condom today.
It looks like methinkso is going to continue in ice, which I don't think... I don't think Xopar did. I think Xopar just bailed.
Yes. I'm very confident you were correct.
Yeah.
So we're missing,
I mean,
it's
on the one
Nocturne,
hand,
Requiem, or Time?
Yeah. On the one hand, it definitely makes sense. Courage is your highest step count. Why waste time going through the rest of ice? But again, just the value of warp songs.
Yeah. Like, if you get Requiem here, you can reverse the GTG.
Yeah.
That saves time. And if you get Song of Time, you can actually, like, right side first becomes denser, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh. And methinkso thinks not. Says the song isn't worth it.
Yeah, that's probably like, I'm going to keep doing this while I think about what piece I just got.
Mm-hmm.
And going, no, it's 5. I'm done here.
Wait, has methinkso not gone to Ganon's yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah. I think this is GTG from methinkso. So we will see. Maybe we will have back-to-back kind of upsets.
This
Because
one's mildly worse because Xopar has the time advantage here.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, so it's interesting because Xopar had both power and courage, I believe, before methinkso picked up his first, which is exactly what happened last.
So, true reversal.
So it might be just like a true... Especially if it is GTG.
Yeah. I know we have early mornings, but, you know, this is where we start blackmailing him to do the triple header. Yep. Don't do it, kids. Never do the triple header. I did. Nope. It's a bad idea.
I have to go to bed after this, so... Unless they're gonna talk through it.
We just load up a seed, put it in, like, the solver online, and then they just talk through their plays, and we figure out who would have done it faster. We don't actually play it.
Oh, God. Oh, the Zooter sim is great.
Not
Yeah,
even taking hammer chest.
this will be very interesting to see what happens here. Because, you know, we were talking about a path strength. If in all of this it is Epona and Minuet. No, Epona, Minuet, Hook for our bow. Bow can't be path because that's too many.
But it can be Wanderer.
But it can be Wanderer.
Yeah, so it can still be a bow lock check in GTG. It just means the bow isn't our path item.
Yeah. Ooh,
all we know
Hollow
is it's
Logic.
not going to be heavy block.
Offering to do comms if they decide to just go for it. Third game in a row. Oh.
I think the hardest part would be finding a restreamer.
I mean, Tobias made coffee. Like, Tobias is awake.
Fair. Yeah. That's like real morning time at that point, right?
Yeah, right? See? Tobias's game.
Shannock's already signing up. Nitherian's in. Oh, God.
I will happily fall asleep to it. Yeah, I don't know where, again, either of these runners are in the US, but I suspect that it's very late for one of them and early-ish for the other.
Yeah. And, like... Oh, yeah. Tobias, I think we're all in agreement that that's...
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
We're memeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they decide to do a third race, you are more than welcome to pull up, you know, multi-twitch, Khadgar, whatever you choose to view on. But it won't be here. No, because we don't want to.
Yeah. It is for the sanity and health of our runners, the ones creating the true content here. I just meme. That's what I do. Yeah, there is a...
I am so curious which of these plays pays out. Like, we're definitely not expecting Fire to pay out at this point, but...
we can be wrong.
But we can be wrong. GTG seems to kind of fit all of the paths pretty well, but...
Yeah, and there is a... on the Scarecrow check, there's a big chest, and then I think...
Hey, that's bow locked.
What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 2. So either 4 or 6 key locked. Okay, no, it has to be 6 key locked.
Yeah, I mean...
left side of the maze.
So, Hook for Minuet and Epona for GTG with Bow Wanderer. We just haven't seen...
Well, we have sometimes hints, right? We know there's no Wanderer strength kicking around.
Mm-hmm. There's also no path strength kicking around.
Yep. But it's also like no path or Wanderer wallet or tunic.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think that is the strongest case against Fire having anything, is the lack of Wanderer wallets and tunics. And we will see in this next room. I would hazard that this being kind of very explicitly bow locked, this is what I would put my money on, is one of the checks here.
Yeah, either this or looking at our key count, it can be much nastier.
Yeah, this statue is trash, by the way.
It is. Stupid, like, it doesn't read inputs, it reads where your feet are. It just sometimes it decides it doesn't like you.
That's one of my, like, favorite kind of snotty things anyone has ever said about this game, someone was getting very frustrated. It was not me for once. They're like, but I'm hitting the eyes, and their response was just, it doesn't matter if you're hitting the eyes if the hitbox isn't in the eyes. And there it is, the comeback. A full-on reversal of game one. Xopar with the two-piece lead, methinkso, coming through, finding wisdom there in GTG, and it looks like Xopar has seen the race time room.
I like this tune for a win. Very upbeat.
And it really just came down, Xopar committed to fire and would have been to GTG in enough time.
Yeah.
Had he just done that from Link.
Yeah, not doing the age change, just playing Serenade and going.
Yep.
But, you play 2 seeds back to back, again, not knowing the difference in time zones for these two. It might, again, just remind chat and everyone, we have all the information. These runners are playing as fast and as best as they can, try not to die on 3 hearts, no shields, while we sit here and go, I wonder if it's this. This was a very great head-to-head match. And, in our opinion, Xopar made the wrong play. But that's not a fault in the player. Yeah, and I agree, Baseball. Very good reads by methinkso.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not sure if they will be joining us for an interview, but we will see. If you have any questions, yeah, exactly. We see everything that both runners are doing. We see all of the hints much faster. So, for example, Lullaby being on Burning Cack, when we started seeing the hints from methinkso as well as what Xopar was collecting, we're like, oh,
yep.
All right, Burning Cack is going to be something important.
Yeah, and another point, yes, there are 3 people tracking behind the scenes as well for 2 displays.
Yep. As well as all of our amazing runners and other volunteers who are in chat. Always, like Isis is saying, bouncing all of the ideas off of. Or sorry, it was Wolfie. Hi, Wolfie.
Yeah. But we are thankful for everyone joining us. So we can put on this content, and there's a reason. I do not have the race time room open, so I do not know what the discussions are going.
I don't either, and I don't think Renata is in our active restream. Give me a sec. 1 second. Xopar passed on interview. Oh, awesome. Great.
Excellent.
Thanks, Tobias. Hey, welcome in. GG's.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. How do you feel?
Pretty good about this one. I mean, compared to my first game earlier, my execution was horrendous. And this time it wasn't quite as bad.
Which is impressive, because usually as time goes on, you're like, oh, I'm getting a little sloppy. Oh, no. That was not the case for you.
Yeah, I guess I just needed some warm-up.
Yeah, always nice. So any, initial thoughts that you have about either seed? If you'd rather just focus on this last one, that's totally fine.
Yeah, well, with this one, I think for the most part it was rather straightforward with the hints. Like, everything was pretty clear and directed me exactly where I needed to go. Like I needed a few minutes to kind of realize where to go after the ice cavern one, but I had picked
Mhm.
up the Lon Lon Ranch hint, and I eventually put it together. That's where I got Pono. So
Yeah. So Xopar interestingly followed the hammer from Lon Lon Ranch.
um,
Um,
okay.
and instead of bailing kind of finally when getting Pierre locked out, made the commitment to go age change, set Scarecrow, go back into fire. And really that was the difference.
Oh, yeah, that hammer could have been some really bad bait.
Hmm. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, Death Mountain Crater was also Path on Wisdom, and the
Hmm.
only thing there was the Minuet. So I kind of figured fire wouldn't be the answer because of that. But
Yeah, no, absolutely great read. So a question I have, what is going through your mind when you find sometimes hints in a seed like this?
uh, yeah, those are tough. Because you know there's not going to be a lot of like really useful hints anywhere, so it just feels like you gotta clear out everything else
Hmm.
just to get a start on. Because there were a few like important wander items. Like thankfully they weren't too hard to find, at least in my case. Like they all turned up, but uh, yeah, it can be a casino, I guess. It can be either really good or really bad when you see that.
Hmm. Chat discussing fire actually being bow locked. Which is true. It was. Uh,
Oh, okay.
we were all, going, "Oh, bow is
Oh,
wanderer from forest," but we also never saw another bow.
yeah. I'm assuming methinkso you understand why Minuet is path for the piece in GTG.
Uh, I'm actually not sure. That was kind of throwing me off. Um, yeah,
Right.
I guess, I guess it
Our
is.
theory. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe there was another bow in forest, or and like you need a minuet to get to forest, and both of the bows were there, so they wouldn't be path in that case. That's my only theory on that.
Yeah, yeah. That's our working theory as well. I was just wondering if it played into your decision making at all.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it could have also like ZL was technically locked behind completing forest too, so it could have been like bottom of the well. There could have been a lot of bows out there because of that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, bottom of the well, I think would be a good place to find another bow in this case, just because that Storm's Wanderer, we know it was for our access to turning in Ruda's letter, but uh given that we didn't see another bow, probably a good option.
Yeah, yeah, it's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Any other kind of thoughts, comments? We had one question left from the first race. It was about the fire arrows. We don't have to talk about that if you
Yeah,
don't want
Yeah.
to.
I saw that. I was just gonna like, maybe just leave it.
Um,
Yeah, what the fire arrows made me think of, and this was because of a race I had like last week or so, where like there was some crazy path hints going on that all basically hinged on spirit key logic and needing a source of
yeah,
fire as well. So I was like, if it is fire arrows, then I'm gonna book it to spirit and see if I have time to get in there and maybe hopefully find a strength on the way. I think I was thinking if the Colossus had Bolero of Fire, I could have gotten the strength that was on top of the crater, and then I could have
yeah,
got back there. But
Yeah.
it just the number of hints really didn't seem to add up for that either. So
yeah. Like baseball saying in chat, spirit key logic is usually what you assume when you start seeing magic and fire sources as wanderers. Totally makes sense that your mind goes there. We all thought it.
There was a
So
part of me that wanted to go back to Shadow Trial too, but I didn't want to. I really didn't think it would be there. And
yeah,
obviously I was wrong.
I think that's the third time I have seen a piece there. Just because the randomizer is not as creative as it thinks it is.
Yeah, and that's such a nasty check too
It
Mm-hmm.
is.
to come back for.
Especially in low count seeds where you've probably already have gone through Ganon's castle once, right? Going
Yeah,
back for one or maybe two checks feels bad.
yeah, especially having already found a piece there.
Yeah, absolutely. I had another. Oh, do you kind of want a general lay of where the pieces were found, time-wise between you and
Sure.
Zopar, or were you sharing that with each other already?
Uh, no, I hadn't. We hadn't shared that, so that'd be interesting to hear.
Yeah. So, Zopar actually found two pieces before you found your first piece,
Oh, really?
which is exactly what happened in the previous race, just reversed. So we all started getting really excited, like, oh, a true reversal back to back. So, especially GG's for that. That was very exciting for us to watch.
Yeah. Both matches were very, like, especially near the end, seeing that swing and the advantage start to head in the other direction makes for very great races to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun to play.
Do you know when your game 3, have you kind of tentatively set when that would be?
I had just briefly chatted with him right after the match here, trying to find a time, but like we're pretty unavailable for the next few days. Either I'm unavailable or he's unavailable, so it's probably gonna have to get delayed to next week, unfortunately.
Okay, well, we will await it eagerly then. Chat, any final questions or methinks so? Any final comments, concerns, complaints? I don't really want to hear the complaints. You can send those to like Ela.
Yeah, I'll keep those to myself. Yeah, no further comment for me.
Great. Well, thank you so much for letting us restream both of these races. It was really fun to watch them back to back, and of course for joining us for an interview. Chat, I think we are raiding over somewhere.
Yes,
Is that true?
indeed. But first, I want to take one more opportunity to say thank you to everyone who made both of these restreams possible. Both restream crews were amazing. But first of all, thanks, of course, to our runners. Go give them a follow. Both methinkso and Xopar put out great content on the regular, so it's definitely those two have should have a place in your follow list on twitch.tv. Also, thank you, of course, to our commentators, melqwii and xtremepsy for this race. Thank you to our trackers who pulled a double shift today, Lady Draco and Natharian, as well as Shenok. Thank you to our race monitor, Renata. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone.
Yourself?
Yourself.
Well, I'm not going to thank myself.
Thank you,
Okay, well, I'll
Tobias.
thank
You
Tobias
are
for
wonderful.
waking up at stupid o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it was 4 o'clock, but that was fun.